Good morning. Happy Sunday. Hope everyone's doing well. Um, I wanted to take some time in this video to discuss the emerging slew of newer banknote errors that you guys need to pay attention to. There's been quite a bit of data that's come across the auction world. I guess ever since the big sale of the LEPE press error on the 2017, I believe it was A series, $5 bill that was sold on Great Collections for like $9,000. I knew with this new integration with the new press that the BEP is using to print the overprint or the third print on every single bill is going to become so kind of like a learning curve, a little bit of a problematic thing that they're going to have to deal with, and they're not going to be able to capture all of the notes that were misprinted in some way. We've seen quite a few pieces out in the marketplace that have shown some pretty wild results coming and stemming from the usage of the new press. Now, they're only using it currently, I believe, on the ones and fives and I believe the $2 bills. Okay, it's been a little bit of time since I've heard any news that they were using it on any of the newer notes. The information I'm providing you, by the way, is like 6-7 months old. So that might have changed to this point where now they're beginning to do overprints on like $10 bills, 20s, things like that. But it certainly warrants some sort of kind of, I don't know, a little bit of a public service announcement for everyone to let you guys know that these things are coming out of the woodwork. And, with anything that is mass produced in short periods of time where everything's kind of, I'm not going to say rushed, but everything's produced in volume. Okay. There exists the possibility that there's going to be some hiccups, some screw ups along the way, a lot of mistakes. And sure enough, we're beginning to see that. In tandem to some of the notes that we're going to talk about today, we're also going to address to a little bit lesser extent a little bit of the, I guess, the controversy surrounding grading the notes. I was actually looking through my collection, and believe it or not, I actually have a relatively newer note. Now, I keep referring to 2017A as being a brand new note, and it is, even though in theory, the actual date that you see here is already 6 years removed. Like, man, that can't be new. And people kind of like make fun of me and say, oh, that's not new at all. When in reality it is. Because up to this point, they haven't, and you guys know, we have a new treasury and I believe a new secretary as well. They haven't produced new notes with a new series date. And normally, when a BEP produces these notes, okay, they keep the same series for at least 3 to 4 years. All right, so we could be like last year in 2022, the newest notes that they're producing are 2000. They're printed 2017A. There's no, it's not like coins where you have the date in which they're released printed or minted or struck onto the coin the same way that you would have it on paper currency. It doesn't work out that way, and the reason why is you have the treasurer and the secretary serving their term up until they leave office because of a voting change and all that stuff. So when a new pairing becomes voted into office, that's when they'll change over the bills. And I think it's this year that they'll do that because they have, again, a new secretary, a new treasury, new treasurer, rather. And that's going to be reflected on the notes. Now, the question is it going to show series 2022 or 2023? That's the question. And when do we expect to see these notes? Probably not until at the very earliest end of the year. All right. We might see him as early as the summer. I don't know. I haven't really been keeping tabs on the Money Factory website because they got press releases and stuff on there regarding release dates, print dates, things like that. With the new, they usually do this kind of like whole dog and pony show where they actually have the treasurer and the new secretary. Like a photo op where they're actually signing, some documents to use for the new paper currency. So again, they usually throw that out there. We may or may not see that. I don't know. But yeah, we're going to talk a little bit about why, you may not need to grade any of these. Okay. You've heard me say that 99.9% of the time, a lot of what you do find in the error and variety field, whether it's coins or paper money, it doesn't necessarily have to be graded. Those pieces speak for themselves, and they will sell for the appropriate amount of money on the secondary market by people that collect into these. They know exactly what something is, if it's legitimate, if it's the real deal. You get the big idea. It's really easy to sniff out a note that is faked, that has been doctored. We've seen that on misaligned overprints in the past. We're still seeing it today. Pretty easy to kind of judge and see which notes are true blue and which ones have been altered to deceive collectors. So a lot of what we do that we're going to be showcasing here today are going to be notes that highlight a series date of either 2017 or 2017A for accuracy. I don't think I have anything here that's 2013. A lot of those notes are they're kind of making their way through circulation. Whatever's left over is being just absorbed into the system, and then eventually they'll kind of by way of attrition, they will disappear slowly but surely once they make it to the banks. The banks will process the notes, and then notes that are like in too low condition to be worthwhile saving, they're going to go ahead and send them off for destruction. And that's how you're kind of seeing the filtering process of our paper currency in the system. So we're going to start it off with this one here, 2017 $82 bill. And the big selling feature of this one, again, it's new. The note looks like it was printed yesterday, but this one was sold as a misaligned overprint. I'm using quotes, air quotes on these, so that way you guys understand the terminology or the currency error speak, I guess. But you could see, and the best thing to look at is the green district seal. Normally, these would be perfectly centered within the word "to" right here. So you have an overlap of the intaglio print from one to the other, and normally it would be perfectly centered. And as long as that's centered, everything else is going to be in line. Like the serial numbers, the black district seal as well, and then these quad corner 8s are also going to be in the perfect spot on the note when these are printed. So someone who obviously went through a bunch of $2 bills, based off of the condition, this thing is uncirculated. I'm sure he or she went through a BEP strap, which is just paper currency that comes directly from the BEP through the Federal Reserve Bank and then into the system, the banking system that is. And they found this. And hopefully they found more than just one, because these things normally travel well together. You'll see other subsequent serial numbers, especially if they're from the same sheet, that have this misalignment. Now, in retrospect, this is on the minor side of the misaligned error, because you don't have any of the elements of the overprint overlapping some of the initial, what they call second print, so the process of printing these notes is they'll print the reverse first on the sheet, and you'll either have a 32 subject sheet, I believe they might have 36 and then 50. All right, so they'll have those three different size of subject sheets. The lower denominations they print on the larger subject sheets. But they'll print the reverse first. The second print is going to be what's on the front, everything that's in black, including the portrait of Tommy J right here. And then the overprint will be everything else. So that's going to be a complete separate, what they call third print or overprint process from the BEP. If you hear a whistling, that's actually my dog. They're in the bedroom because we have company over. But anyway, something like this, how much did it sell for? Oh, by the way, all the sales are from eBay. It's kind of like the best place to pull this information. But this sold here, and these are all sales from the last 90 days. So it could be anywhere from, like, I believe, mid-October all the way up to this point in the beginning of January. This one sold for $29, which, again, if you kind of did the math, we're looking at about 14 and a half times profit based off of face value. And again, it's worth it. It's worth pulling these out and holding on to them either for your collection or for resale. A lot of folks, strap hunt and do all these things to find star notes and all that stuff that, they're trying to enjoy the hobby. They're trying to enjoy reselling these things into the market where people are truly invested and interested in these items. So $29 here for this piece. The next one that we have here is going to be actually a 2017 star note. Sorry, I didn't set this one up properly. But you guys heard me talk about this one before. This is what they call an over-inked star, to the point where the star is filled in. Normally, when you look at star notes, the stars are supposed to have a dot in the middle. Okay, so normally that's going to be the case. That's a normal looking star. An abnormal star will be completely filled in. Okay, and that's simply a little bit of over inking. Now you want to be careful, especially on older star notes, that you take a quick close look at the star, because the green overprint is very distinguishable for its color, its hue, saturation, and appearance. Okay, it's a completely different animal. When, say, you take a Sharpie marker and just tap a little green on there, you're going to notice the difference right away. But this is, again, another one that a lot of people are finding out there in circulation. The note itself looks like it's seen a little bit of circulation. It's probably changed hands, 3-4 times. It's that fresh looking. It does have a few waves. It's got a centerfold, so it probably went into someone's wallet. But yeah, this is something right here, ladies and gentlemen, that you don't have to grade by PMG or PCGS banknote. It's not necessary. Why spend the $30, $40 to send something like this when it's not going to make any financial sense when you go to resell it? A lot of people say, well, if I grade this, it's going to be worth, 3-4 times more money. And that's just simply not the case when it comes to error banknotes. This one right here, as you guys had seen, sold for $41, actually a day before Christmas with 2 bids. I'm not gonna add in any shipping. You guys will see that, whether they did free shipping or they actually charged for it. I'm not going to tally that into the actual price of the note, even though it kind of makes sense, because that's the total cost to buy the note and get it to you. Therefore, that is how much you had paid for it. $41 is the sale price on this one. The next one that we have here is one that actually got talked about, I believe last summer, and it's a very, very intriguing note, very intriguing error, and it's nothing that we've seen on any of the older prints. Nothing from 2013 and prior, which is the previous series date before 2017. And that is what they call inkwell contamination. So when you look at this note, it looks like that half the note was photographed in black and white. It's like a filter that someone did, because the left-hand serial number is like black. The right-hand serial number and the green district seal are the traditional green that you would expect for the printing of these notes. But yeah, there is nothing wrong with this photograph. That is indeed an inkwell contamination, where you have some of the ink from some of the other smaller corresponding wells, maybe for the black district seal, or maybe one of these numbers here had accidentally contaminated into the green ink well that is specific for that serial number string right there. And when you mix that together, it's going to appear a lot darker, more blacker than normal. Upon closer examination, you'll find that it does still have somewhat of a kind of like a pine tree green hue to it, which is like a very dark green. But when you compare, say, the serial number to the black of the district seal, you're going to find that it has more of a little bit of a greener kind of hue to it. So that's, again, something that you want to look out for, that there's kind of like that slight disparity in actual hue of the blackness of that serial number compared to anything else around it. And you want to make sure you're comparing the inks from the overprint process, which means you're not going to compare this to, say, the black of the second printing of the note. You want to, stay within the kind of like the printing plate, area of, the black district seal, or these two sixes right here. Pretty cool. This is something that is still trying to be understood in the ecosystem of paper money collecting and errors specifically. It's not something as progressive or as well known as misaligned overprints and those type of errors, but it's starting to get out there. People are beginning to understand something like this. And as you can see, this is a sale from October 30th, 2022 in the amount of $62.90. With 12 bits is what we're looking at here for this one. So you could see someone was kind of paying attention while they're going through their notes and found out that, hey, this serial number, it looks nothing like the other one. All right. And as a result, they made a few bucks in the process. It didn't quite fit their collection, so they elected to unleash it out into the world and see what it would do. So not too bad there. The next one that we have here is something that we've seen before on other older series notes, but we have a pair of 2017 $1 bills. You're going to find that one note is printed with very robust inks. It looks good. It looks like, as it should. The second note that you see underneath it is underinked. So the ink wells for the first initial print on the reverse were running low on ink. Therefore, it's not going to print out a very, very heavy looking back print on there. And the seller did a really good job. Just kind of combining the two. They actually used like a float frame or something like that to display it, which I think is pretty neat. But I will say this, when it comes to the overall photography for resale, this is a little bit too busy for me, but that's just me. I prefer just to have the two notes isolated with a white background, so that way you could focus more in on the notes and all the distraction is going to be gone. So a little photography tip if you decide you want to do that. But yeah, just a little insufficient ink on the reverse. The front, this is a star note, ladies and gentlemen, that has the insufficient back print. Note showing very little circulation wear. I would say it's probably a good solid about uncirculated on the grading scale. And this particular note ended up selling as a buy it now for $89.89. And yeah, this is from the last 90 days as well. So pretty cool note there. All right, the next one that we have here, again, another note that a lot of folks have looked for. And this one actually looks like it came out of a BEP strap because it's a gem uncirculated 66. They went and actually graded it through PMG. Hopefully they got a pretty good deal doing like a bulk submission. But this one has what they call a gas pump or a stuck digit or a turn digit. There's a few different vernacular when it comes to this, but you can see that that last digit on the left-hand serial number string is a lot higher than everything else. Here's a little bit more of a close-up. There we go. So it's very minor. I've sold things like this raw in circulated condition for like $8 to $10. Raw, they're not worth a whole lot, but this particular example right here sold for $97, and a lot of that has to do with actual condition of the note. It has the error attributed right on the label of that graded holder, which is also an extra added benefit. 23 bits. This might actually be one of those circumstances that if you did find an uncirculated example of this type of error, that it might actually be worth sending off to a grading company. And if you came across, like, say, a bank brick or many straps, brand new from the BEP with this anomaly on there, send them all, pay like 20, 25 bucks per note on the bulk side of things and, rake in the cash. Because you could turn around, sell each note, sell one per week. And if it sells for between $80 and $100, that's a huge win right there. And you're really not doing a whole heck of a lot of work to get there either. And keep in mind, this is a 2017, which is a little bit older print. This is from that 2000 kind of like 17 to 2020 era, print wise, for the date, so this one, end of October, sale for $97. The next one that we have here is a 2017A $10 Fed Reserve note. All right, so something is definitely missing here, all right, and it's that green district seal that's usually overlapping the word 10 here. You see "we the people" on the paper, and then the word 10. Yeah, there's actually supposed to be a green seal there, and crazy. We haven't seen one of these on the new colorized notes in a little while, and here we are. We have a 2017A. Series 10 with no overprinted green seal. There's a little bit of the back, not showing really any funny business. It's not like this thing was played around with or it was accidentally put into the washer and the dryer, which can wreak havoc on the note. And you could kind of tell if that did happen, that the note would give off very irregular kind of wave to the paper. The seller did put it in front of a strong light to show you that there's absolutely no embossing. Nothing was played around with here. This is a genuine overprint error. No green seal on this one. And ungraded, keep in mind, ungraded. This one sold December 3rd in the amount of $144.38. That's with 20 bids. Gotta make sure I keep the good old throat good and going. A little bit of water. So really good looking note. Again, maybe something that's worthwhile to look out for all you currency hunters. This is yet again another possibility out there. I mean, we've gone through already 7 or 8 different errors on 2017 and up series notes, and we have a few more, unfortunately for you guys. Here's a brand new $20 bill that someone had come across and actually raked in a really good sale. 2017 A series, circulated note. It's got centerfold and just general kind of like circulation paper wave to it. Check out the overprint. It's misaligned and shifted to the left of the note. And again, a very, very nice example here. There's a little bit of the reverse, kind of like the fall-like background of the picture here. The seller must have been really excited to show this off. And, probably stepped right out of the bank, took a picture, and voila. We have something that is truly phenomenal. Pretty crazy that things are like this are showing up on newer notes. And again, it just kind of opens the door to a lot of possibilities, to a lot of things that you guys need to look for. This one sold October 17th, a few months ago for $157.50, 35 bids. Beautiful, beautiful example. We also have a pair of 2017A $100 bills with what they call butterfly or cutting folds. So these top right corners were folded in on the sheet before they were cut, and therefore you have a little kind of tiny cute butterfly on the top right of each one of these. This is it looks to be a consecutive pair, and very interesting. I mean, you do come across these every so often. If you're lucky enough to get BEP straps and bundles of these bricks, then that's where you're going to have your highest probability of finding neat stuff like this. Because obviously, if it went to a bank and the bank opened up the bricks and they ran the straps through their machines to count them, these will certainly flag as being something that didn't make it through the machine. It might even tear the little ear on there, and that's what you don't want. You don't want to do that. And then, believe it or not, I've actually seen people actually cut that just so it's like nice and squared up, and it's a little bit of a heartbreaker for sure. Legitimate notes. These are from a collector overseas, and this particular pair ended up selling for 5.25 here in the last few months. So another big one right there. And then we're going to end it off on probably one of the biggest finds, one of the biggest chases that you could come across on a newer note these days. And that's going to be on this 2017 A $20 bill. Just go ahead and read the information. It's graded by PCGS banknote. Mismatched suffix error. So the suffix is going to be the letter at the end of the serial number on both strings. There's a prefix, that's the PE, and then you have the suffix, which kind of caps out the serial number. But you can see it's showing the letter D and a letter F here. Very interesting. This is one of those rare circumstances where I would send it to a grading company. I might even send it off even if it was a little bit lower grade. There just can't be too many of these out there because I'm sure a lot of people aren't really looking for them. All right, so that's another X factor that you could throw into the mix when it comes to these. But this is a great looking example. Now, this one right here ended up selling for some sort of amount of money. They were asking $959. We're going to go into 130 point and find out right away how much this one sold for. So we're going to go here, 130point.com. This will be kind of like a neat little thing that you guys can use if you don't have any other resources. It's free to use as well. Search eBay sales. Most folks use this to look up sports card sales. And what we're going to do is simply copy and paste the listing title. Whoops, gotta put that back in again. And then copy paste in this top line right here. And then submit. And it'll pop up with the actual sold price, which in this case, $750 is how much it sold for. So that's outstanding. Beautiful find. I'm sure that that's not the only one. There's going to be more of those available out there with some dutiful hunting. Again, these are all possibilities out there. I'm not promoting and pitching that these are going to be easy finds. You know, you're actually going to have to put into work, but it's going to be fun work. All right, grab $1,000 in dollar bills. If you could get those BEP bricks, that's going to be your ticket. That's your meal ticket right there. And then there's going to be a myriad of other different things to look out for. Star notes, low runs, things like that. I've actually seen a few very nice sales of low run star notes on eBay. So maybe we'll do that for another time. But I wanted to take the time to discuss this particular, I guess, segment of the brand new notes, this collecting area. And you guys are going to have a lot of fun looking for some of these. Some of the kind of like lower hanging fruit stuff, like the misaligned overprint and the gas pump digit stuff, those are always fun finds. So always look out for those. Now you have a general idea of how much some of these sell for. But that's going to go ahead and wrap it up for this one. Just to let you guys know, we will be back on to the live coin Q&A live stream coming up here tomorrow night. 5:30 Pacific, 8:30 Eastern. So if you guys are available, you want to check out some really cool finds from our viewers. We also discuss a lot of that as well. And yeah, it's going to be a really fun time. Aside from that, there's going to be some pretty neat stuff coming out from the BEP store. So if you wanted to check it out, they're actually ran by the same folks that do the US Mint website. It's moneyfactory.com. .gov, I believe is what it is. But that's the official BEP store. You can buy full subject sheets and all that. And a lot of those will be available sometime this spring. So look out for those. Should be a lot of fun. But that's going to go ahead and wrap it up for this one. I want to thank you guys for tuning in. Thank you for all your views and support. Sean with BlueRidgeSilverhound. Love you guys. And I'll see you on the next video. So long.